But you know, other than that, I thought Steve was great. I wish he'd stuck around for. I know he.
Yeah, he didn't get to go. He didn't. Yeah, he had to go back to Louisville.
He didn't get to do dinner, and he didn't get to do the movie, and I kind of felt bad for him. But no, I thought he was a great person.
Yeah, they are.
And here they are. Dana's like, but you know, I think she overdoes this. All she has to do is say, I want to do this because you guys do a lot for me. Like Rob gave us free artwork, and Joe gave her a couple T-shirts, and I mean, you just at some point you're like, all right, just let me do this back for you. I'm having a great time. You all do everything for me. The Dead Pit, like
gives us a show every week.
Magazine.
Yeah, they advertise my magazine too.
You know, Blood Type magazine and all this kind of stuff. And a lot of these people, I mean, Joe said he's going to design a Blood Type T-shirt.
I know, when that floor.
Rob was talking about doing some of the artwork for the magazine, and you know, all this networking and all the stuff they were going to do.
It's all because of Dead Pit.
Yeah, and so you want to do something back for all these people. So we tried to get, you know, she wanted to do this, but you know, it's an uphill fight. It's kind of like trying to buy your parents a meal. They don't want their kids buying them a meal either. So you basically either have to tell the server and cheat, or you just
which is what we pretty much do
about it. They let you do it, which is what we ended up doing. I can be pretty loud and obnoxious.
We weren't rude and obnoxious. We just made sure I got the check.
I didn't say rude. I said loud.
Well, we weren't.
You can roll back that tape and check that. I said loud, and I'm a very loud person. So, you know, but you know, whatever. Everybody had a good time regardless of who paid for it. And I have to say that server was spoiled. She had a very, very nice tip.
She got a very nice tip.
Very nice tip.
The guys gave a really good tip.
Guys usually tend to tip better than girls do. Girls.
Why do you think that is?
I do the math in my head, but the guys really, they don't do the math. They just over
why do you think that is? Because they just naturally like women and they want to give them tips.
Yeah, guys tip better. If we'd had a male waitress, they wouldn't have slapped down that much, you know.
No.
And I hate to say that as a sexist thing, because I don't want it to come off that way. It's just the way human beings are, really. We were talking about that, you know. I was talking about that with Rob. That was one of the interesting conversations we had. We had a lot of great interesting conversations.
We did.
Just all kinds of stuff. A lot of interesting people came to the Dead Pit booth to talk to people too. So.
Who else did you see? Do you remember who else you saw? We saw Crater and Justin.
I don't remember everybody's names. That's part of the problem.
And I think
I've ever been to one.
I'm not sure, but I think Justin got a tattoo.
Yes, I think he did. He got a Frankenstein. Rob had a picture of Frankenstein that he'd done, and like I was talking about, Rob did a lot of the Universal Classic monsters, and they're awesome. Like I got a picture of Bela Lugosi's Dracula.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Really, really, really classic. And anyway, he had a classic picture of Frankenstein, and he decided to get that as a tattoo. And the tattoo artist, I was kind of skeptical. I still think he's going to have a hard time. He put it right here on his wrist.
Yeah.
And you know that's going to be bad. It's going to itch.
Well, it probably hurt too.
No, he said it didn't hurt that bad.
He said it didn't hurt.
He had enough meat on his arm that I don't think, you know, I'm not going to go into it, but some people can take it and some people can't. But no, it didn't hurt him, but you just know in a couple days it's going to be so itchy and he's going to like knock it into everything. But also, I think the guys were more worried about if he went to work and they were like, you can't have that. It was in a place he couldn't hide unless he took an ace bandage and acted like he'd hurt himself all the time, you know, just bandaged it up. So
okay, I don't think I asked you this. What was the most satisfying moment at the Scarefest?
Satisfying moment?
Yes. The thing that's going to stick with you the most after this weekend.
I have to be selfish about this.
Okay.
I came into this and I had one topic, and I think my biggest fear was that it was going to... See, because I'm not the hugest horror fan. I don't go see horror movies in the theater very often. In fact, very few of them. I've seen Halloween H2O.
Yeah, we went to see that.
I've seen 30 Days a Night, the vampire movie I wish I hadn't seen. You know, I saw Friday the 13th Part 7. There's been a few others. I would have to go over it to go which ones I'd actually seen.
Right.
And I normally tell people I don't go see that stuff. Mainly because I want to eat when I'm in a movie. And if there's a lot of gore, which, okay, 1988 film, you're not going to see a lot of the gore. Really.
Right.
Except for maybe like we were talking about the, I gotta turn around so we need to be going the other way on the bypass. But, we were talking about the Italian movies that was featured in your Blood Type magazine.
Yeah, the last issue.
Which were cannibal movies. And of course, cannibals are going to have a lot more gore. I mean, I've seen movies that weren't even supposed to be horror movies that had cannibals in them, and it was pretty gory. So I could see if it was really meant to up it up, that it could just be absolutely horrifying, and, you know, there would be no way you could desensitize yourself to it unless you were a psychopath. But,
so was that the most satisfying moment of Scarefest, having the stimulating conversation?
I think some of that was, but I felt like I fit in. So the most satisfying moment, I think, was I was able to get Wes and Aaron into the conversation talking about what I'd really wanted to bring up, which was the topic I really wanted to feature. I like to play games. I'm a gamer. And I wanted to talk about, they do movie reviews, horror movie reviews. And we've had some great survival horror games that people love to play, but the movies outright suck. Right. And I wanted to talk about why we can't get a decent one. Why we can't get a decent survival horror movie patterned after some of the great games. I mean, you look at some of the movies, you're thinking, oh my God, Resident Evil, great game. What were they thinking when they made the movie? No offense to Mila Jovovich or anything like that, but, you know. And number 1 wasn't even that bad, but 2 and 3, please. I saw 3 on an airplane, and I was about, oh,
okay,
man.
So tell everybody what Dana got teased about unmercifully today.
Unmercifully?
Yeah, what's the movie that Aaron and Wes like to tease me about? You need me to tell
Terror on Parade or
Terror on Tour?
Terror on Tour.
Yeah.
And they just went on and on about this, and I just was like, what is the big deal with this? She likes it, you don't, you know.
So I started giving Wes a hard time about The Forest, which is a crappy movie that Wes really, really likes.
Yeah, and of course they ended up, and this was the argument. Well, what do you really like about this? Well, what do you really like about that? Well, what do you know, and nobody was answering any questions.
No, wait a minute.
No,
I said
true. You really didn't.
I said that it was a fun movie.
On the 3rd bout of you all going back and forth asking that, you finally said, I think it was a fun movie, and but you really didn't. He was looking for more of an answer, like a concrete.
Well, he couldn't give me an answer about The Forest, really. Really, I mean, come on. Look at Owensboro. Look at that, people. Isn't that lovely? And it's dark. You know why it's dark?
Because it took us all day to drive back.
To get out of Lexington.
All day.
It took all afternoon to get out of Lexington. So, that is why it's dark.
Okay. Would you go ahead? Go ahead, because I know you're not going to stop for midpoint.
And people don't want to stop for us either.
No,
See, look at that.
You know, they want to jump across the intersection.
People don't know how to drive. But we know they know how to drive here better in Owensboro than they do Lexington.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily that they know how to drive better. It's A, they don't get as impatient, and B, the roads are laid out better. Which, if you ask my friend Chris, he'll tell you, no, the roads aren't laid out better. It's horrible. But if you've been to Lexington, you definitely agree that Owensboro is much better laid out as far as the roads go.
Let's see if we can see. Ooh, light.
What?
I had to turn on my light because you can't see my face. Well, you might not want to see my face. But anyways, here I am. Yeah. But we did have a really good time at Scarefest. I would like to go back again. I think Heather would like to go back again.
Yeah, I had a good time.
I'm not so sure people will want to see me again, but they say they would. So that's all I can go by. We're not going to mention any names. Just, you know, it is really dark on this camera. I look like I ought to be in some haunted house movie or something. Yeah.
I should have talked about TV. Like, I know they do movie reviews, but there's some good TV out there.